All right. So what do you want to know?
How'd you do, Andrew? Man, pleased to meet you finally.
Yeah. So
What
get to whatever it is you want to get to.
Right, okay. I've heard you say for years, ain't it? Like, yeah, and you're bored of it as well. You know the concept of rights
Yeah.
being and what you consider to be entitlements without duty.
Yeah.
And as obviously a Christian, you're a follower of the Christ. You obviously, and I've heard you as well on other shows, like slapping hoes and sinners about with the concept of God-given free will or universal free will under the same logical branch, right? Yeah, using
Sure.
it, right? Yeah. So there's a clear distinction between freedoms. One, the freedom to blink, fart, scratch your ass, walk your dog, this
Can
and
you?
that.
I just want to ask for one just quick favor. If you can maybe crank your audio up a little bit. You're very quiet.
My apologies. I'll get closer to my mic. Is that better?
Yeah, that's better, but maybe speak up even more.
I'll do it on my end. I think I
Just maybe crank him
cranked
up a little bit.
down earlier because he was coming in a little too loud. EB3, can you test your mic again for me, please?
Testing 1 2 1 2.
Much better. Go ahead.
Okay. Right. So you're obviously aware of, and you've used them yourself, the clear distinction between freedoms and rights. But in your logical precept of rights being, as far as you're concerned, entitlements without duty, it's flawed because freedoms are relinquished for rights. For instance, you're in your I'm paraphrasing you, but you say like
wait, hang on. Can you qualify something for me real quick, just so that we don't semantically speak past each other? When you say that freedoms are limited for rights, what does that mean?
I said relinquished.
Yeah, what does that mean? How are they relinquished for rights?
Surrendered.
How? Wait, okay, which freedom is relinquished for rights?
Well, let me finish speaking, man.
No, you need to qualify. You need
I'm going to qualify it now.
It's important for me. Listen. Hang on. I'm not trying to blow past you. I just want to make sure we don't equivocate.
Can I finish saying what I want to say?
Just listen for 5 seconds, and then you can speak. I promise.
I'll say EB3. He's running a line of logic with you, so we're going to go step by step.
Yeah, I just want to make sure we don't equivocate. I just want to make sure we don't speak past each other, and that I understand exactly what it is that you're saying and why it is you're saying it. Can you tell me what this means when you say, when you have a right, you necessarily are giving up what?
A freedom.
Okay, can you tell me how that works?
And I'm going to provide an example. If you'd let me finish, I would have answered your question, but you had to.
Dude, calm down. I just want to make sure that we don't speak past each other. That's it. Being very good faith here. Can you be good faith back?
Right. Paraphrase me and stop me when I'm in error. Right. Yeah, I'm paraphrasing.
I'm not paraphrasing. I'm asking for
that was an accident, an error. I'm paraphrasing you. Stop me when I'm in error. You say often in your debates with people, right? Yeah, that as an example, do you have a right to own a gun? And they answer, obviously, yes. Under the American Constitution, you do. Correct?
Sure.
Right. And then you say, do you have a duty to own one? Am I right so far?
Do you have a duty to own a gun?
Yeah.
That would be no.
You normally follow up with that after. When they answer, you normally follow up with that. Am I correct thus far?
Sure.
Okay. Now I'm getting you to follow the trail of logic. But that's the wrong question. Do you, under God, the universe, have the freedom, regardless of what country you're in, where you are on the earth, right? Yeah, to own any gun you want, regardless of consequence, i.e., laws of mankind. You don't have the freedom to own a gun, regardless of consequence.
No.
How so?
Oh, wait. I'm sorry. This is why I was asking for the qualifier. You said regardless of consequence?
That's exactly what I said.
So you can do anything you want regardless of consequence.
Right, so that's a freedom that you are giving up, right, yeah, in order to own a gun, right, yeah, legitimately, to exercise a right to own a gun legitimately. You're giving up freedoms because you can obviously own any gun you want under God, regardless of consequence, regardless of the laws of man and what happens to you. You can, and people do the laws of mankind. You obviously know don't prohibit, don't stop.
Okay. Hang on. I've heard you out now. So you have a right to a woman then, regardless of consequence. Regardless of consequence, if you have a regardless of consequence, you do have a right to a woman, right?
Right.
Okay.
I'm going to answer you. Please
can you answer my question, please?
No.
No. Why don't you?
All right, because you're misconstruing rights.
Can you answer my question?
You're using rights and freedoms, right? Yeah,
Do
interchangeably.
you have a
and
right
nowhere
to
synonymous.
a woman based on the if there's no consequence? Do you have the right to do that?
No.
Why not?
Right, yeah, because you're misconstruing rights.
Can you
and
answer
freedoms.
my question? Why
Right,
not?
Look, it's not written in law anyway. You have that right.
What do you
If
mean
it's
it's
a
not
right,
written in law? So if it was written in law, you did have a right to the woman?
Right, yeah, rights are
stupid,
short.
bro.
No, listen, rights are short for legal rights. If you have a right to something, it's legally written down in law somewhere where you can go and look it up. Whereas what's lawful, which is ultimately what your freedoms are, that vast. They're too vast to be calculated. You don't need.
Then
it
you're
written
making my
down in
argument
law.
for me.
Not at all.
Yeah,
Right,
sure you are. So what you're doing is you're saying
listen,
that rights.
No. Let me
No,
respond without
let
you.
me. I've just let you
When you
talk a
finish
bunch. I've just
Spurgeon,
let you
when you
talk a
finish
bunch.
Spurgeon like
I've just let
Destiny,
you talk
let me
a
know when you
bunch.
finish
I've just let
Spurgeon.
you talk a bunch.
Okay.
Let me get my words in, then you can get your words in, I promise. Very simple. You're actually making my argument for me that rights are a social construction. You affirm that they're a social construction because you then say, what about absent the consequent? Can you do anything absent a consequent? Sure. So I can say you have a right to a woman then if there's no consequences. Your answer to this is nothing. You have no answer to this, you adult, because that's where your line of reasoning goes. Go ahead. I want to hear anything. Go, give me anything.
You're misconstruing my argument. You're straw manning. You're defeating a house of cards I haven't said. You are using rights and freedoms synonymously. When I said listen, women get crimes happen.
Yeah.
They are exercising their freedoms under God, regardless of consequence. That's why they get held accountable for it, because they don't have a right to.
Well, but do you understand when you say regardless of consequence? Why don't you have a right to?
Because they are not. I agree with you that their rights are social constructs. I have never.
Then why don't you have a right to?
Because it's not written down in law.
Okay, so all that is required to then is that it's written in law. You can.
No, I'm saying that if you have a legal right to something, it is written down in law.
Okay, but can you answer my question? Is it immoral to?
Yeah. Well, it's immoral to harm anyone. Yeah.
Okay, why?
Because I'm a Christian. I follow Christ, man.
Okay, so you have an epistemic foundation based on the teachings of Christianity, right?
Yes, I'm saying you have a
okay. So then when you're talking about rights, and you agree with me that they're just social constructions, you could feasibly then under this social construction have a right to, right?
Well, I suppose if you were
then what are we arguing about?
If you lived in that type of
then what are we arguing about?
I'm arguing because you've never heard this argument before. You're using rights and freedoms synonymously.
I've heard this argument a million times. Your entire position literally reduces to relativism.
You use rights and freedoms synonymously. You say rights are a entitlement absent of duty.
Yes,
that's not true.
Okay, then what is a right?
It's false. A right is an entitlement, right? Yeah, that is a
absent a duty. Thank you.
No, but there is an obligation.
What's the obligation?
The duty is right. Yeah, let me finish speaking. Right. Yeah, your questioning is: do you have a right to own a gun? Yes.
Do you have a duty to own a gun?
You can't. You have to interrupt me.
Well, no. Listen, hang on.
I can do it. Right, you interrupt.
I need to make sure that we get this semantically correct. When you say. And you are correct when I say a right is an entitlement absent duty. What I'm asking you is any of the rights you cite to me that are rights to give me the equivalent of the absence of duty. So if you say you have a right to... Stop, bro. Stop. So if you say you have a right to own a gun, I want to know if you have a duty to own a gun. If you have a right to freedom of speech, I want to know if you have a duty. Hang on. I want to know if you have a duty to engage in freedom of speech. If not, then it seems like you're adopting my worldview, not me yours. But anyway, go ahead.
No. If you exercise your right to own a gun, you have a duty not to own any gun you want, regardless of consequence.
Why?
Because you become a criminal and you will lose your right to own a gun.
Well, that's a consequence. So that makes no sense.
No, you're misconstruing rights and freedoms.
I'm not misconstruing anything.
Separate aspects of life. Right, criminals. Let me stop speaking. Stop spurging like Destiny. Right, yeah?
Nobody's spurging except you, bro.
Right, Destiny. Let me finish speaking now. Right, yeah. Criminals exercise their freedoms under God every day, right? Yeah, regardless of consequence, right? Yeah, whether they are acting sinfully or otherwise, they own any gun they want, Uzis and everything, do drive-bys, regardless of consequence, right?
Yes.
They don't care if the police come after them or whatnot.
Totally
They're
agree.
exercising their freedoms. Stop spurging like
I just said
destiny
I
when
totally
I'm trying to
agree.
explain something. I'm showing you.
Well,
a
how
clear
long do you get to
distinction.
filibuster before I can respond?
Spurging like
Can you lift?
destiny.
Hang on. Can you lift your right hand when you're done talking?
Andrew, stop spurging like destiny.
Well, how much time do you think we have, bro?
Right, I'm trying to relay a point, a distinction.
I'm listening to your point. I just told you I agreed with your point.
You're making a fundamental error in logic, and you've been doing it for years.
Where's the fundamental error in logic? That's what I'm looking for.
Rights come with obligations, and duties are relinquished whether you are consciously aware of them or not. Right? Yeah.
No.
Yes.
No. Prove it.
Absolutely.
Give me the demonstration.
Your freedoms under this earth, right? Yeah, are the principal foundation of where rights come from, right? Yeah, and you
hang on, back up. Listen. I don't actually understand
the concept of government,
bro. I don't understand what you're saying. You have to. Can you calm down so that I'm just trying to understand your view?
Pardon me. EB3. I don't need to control Andrew. He does just fine on his own. But EB3, I think where he's going is kind of the same issue we were having with you earlier, where you're kind of going off in all these
like I said to begin with,
long tangents of nothingness and not actually getting to the point. So if you could land your plane, Barry, he hasn't really interrupted you.
Why are you spurging, bro? Calm down.
EB3, you've got 30 seconds to land that plane, and then we'll be bringing everybody up here shortly after Andrew returns his whatever you want to.
Andrew is making a fundamental error in logic, right? Yeah, and he's been doing it for years. Rights come with obligations, and duties are relinquished whether people are consciously aware of them or not. Criminals exercise their freedoms under God, and before rights and governments existed, right? Yeah, people were exercising their freedoms and doing whatever they want and pillaging all the time under God, right? Yeah, and rights try to interject the teachings of Christ. The English language does anyway. The English language and Christendom is incorporated with one another. So rights are a derivative of freedoms. Freedoms are the principal, most powerful part of anything, right? Yeah. Rights are secondary. They are a social construct and all that, but the freedoms of man, what you can do regardless of consequence, are relinquished in order to exercise your rights legitimately, and that is a duty that is bestowed upon anyone that claims rights. Andrew is fundamentally wrong in his approach to tackling what rights are.
Actually, I'm happy. I'm happy to engage with this. If you can you just answer a couple of questions without going on kind of like elongated nonsense? I'm actually happy to engage with you. Are you willing to do that with me?
Perhaps, Andrew, but sometimes, like the Christ, I might answer questions with questions to see if you can.
No, you don't answer a question with a question. You answer the question. Now, let me ask you a question. Under this model that you have, where you're talking about rights themselves being social constructions, it is feasible that somebody could have a right to a child?
According to your logic, right? Yeah.
No. Answer my question, bro. From your view.
Right. Yeah, but according to you. Right,
according to your view.
Yes. But according to you, it's already happening
So according to your view, people can have the right to a child, right?
And according to your worldview, it's already.
No, I'm asking about your worldview, not mine. Can you answer my question from your worldview? Can a person have a right to grape a child?
If you consider the age of consent,
please answer my question. Please answer my question. Please answer my question. From your worldview, if rights are a social construction, could a person have a right to grape a child?
Andrew,
answer my question.
Q&A sessions are nowhere synonymous.
You're not answering my question.
I will try to answer a question with a question, and you can handle it.
He's just spurging. He can't answer any questions. So
yeah, nice one, Rattlesnake, of course.
Gentlemen, let me reset because I do think it's kind of becoming a pointless circle that's not being answered. So let me just give some shout outs. Orca Speaks with the Big Five says I am a Crucible crew as much as I am Tomato crew.
Can I point out before you answer that last super chat? Can I point out he asked me a variety of questions which I answered yes or no to. Yes, no, yes, no. And notice when I asked him any questions, he said I can only answer your questions with questions. And the thing is that is the opposite of the Socratic method, and it is also the opposite of how you actually debate and engage in good faith. When you asked me questions, sir, I answered yes. No, yes, that's true. No, that's not true. And was willing to give you what my view was if you asked additional questions. You did not do that for me. You, sir, are scum and lesser than I am as a debater. You're lesser than I am as a debater because I can do what you can't do. Answer questions.
Can I defend myself then?
No, you can't defend yourself. Shut up.
Right, listen, Sarah.
No, be quiet. You had like 10 minutes to defend
all right. If you're scared of me, don't let me respond to that.
Nobody's scared of you.
Afraid of you. You know what?
We just had a 1v1 and all you did was run, bro.
Wrongful rage already paid to put you backstage, and I'm implementing it now.